You have probably heard these dog myths a million times, like that old rule that says 1 human year equals 7 dog years. Who even came up with that math? Or the idea that dogs see the world like an old school black and white TV show? And here is a fan favorite that everyone seems to believe: when your dog licks you, they are just giving you a sweet little kiss. Well, I hate to break it to you, but it is way more complicated, and honestly, a little grosser than that. In this video, we are going to clear up the confusion once and for all. We are going to debunk the biggest lies about our canine companions. Please like and subscribe to support us. It really helps the channel grow. Now let's get the straight scoop on the things we get wrong, starting with the look your dog gives you when they've made a huge mess. Let's talk about the guilty look. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You come home from a long day at work. You walk into the living room, and there it is. The trash can is knocked over. Coffee grounds are everywhere. Or maybe your favorite pair of sneakers has been chewed into oblivion. You look at your dog, and they are practically shrinking into the floor. Their head is low. Their ears are pinned back. Maybe they are doing that little paw shuffle, and they are looking up at you with those big, sad whale eyes. It is so easy to believe that they are apologizing. You think, see, he knows what he did. He feels bad about it. But here is the truth that might change how you handle discipline forever. Dogs do not feel guilt in the way humans do. That look has absolutely nothing to do with remorse for destroying your shoes. It has everything to do with you. Dogs are absolute masters at reading body language and tone of voice. They have spent thousands of years evolving alongside us, learning to read our micro expressions. If you walk in and find a mess, your frustration is written all over your face before you even say a word. Your posture stiffens, your scent changes, and your energy shifts. Your dog picks up on that instantly. They aren't thinking, I shouldn't have eaten the trash 3 hours ago. They are thinking, my human is angry, and I need to diffuse the situation right now so I don't get hurt. That guilty look is actually a biological submission response. They are making themselves small to say, I am not a threat, please calm down. Guilt requires a complex understanding of right and wrong, of past actions and future consequences. Dogs live almost entirely in the present moment. So while that sorry face might tug at your heartstrings, remember that it is more about avoiding your wrath than feeling sorry for the crime. Instead of getting mad, which only confuses them, focus on managing their environment so they can't get into trouble next time. Now that we know they aren't judging their own morality, let's talk about how they physically see the world. Because this next myth is one of the most persistent ones out there. There is a long-standing belief that dogs are colorblind, meaning they only see in black, white, and shades of gray. People imagine their dogs are living in a classic noir film, but that is simply not the case. Science has come a long way in understanding canine vision, and we now know that dogs absolutely do see color, just not the same rainbow that we see. To understand this, we have to look at the biology of the eye. Human eyes have 3 types of color detecting cells called cones, which allow us to see red, green, and blue combinations. Dogs, on the other hand, only have 2 types of cones. This is what scientists call dichromatic vision. They can see shades of blue and yellow very clearly. However, they are missing the cones that detect red and green. So think about that for a second. What color are most dog toys? Bright red or orange, right? And where do we throw them? On green grass. To you, that red ball pops against the green lawn, but to your dog, that red ball looks brownish yellow, and the green grass also looks brownish yellow. You are essentially throwing a camouflaged object and expecting them to find it with their eyes. This is why they often sniff around frantically to find the ball, rather than running straight to it. Their world isn't boring or gray. It's just a different palette, more like a sepia filter with splashes of blue and yellow. They rely more on detecting movement and brightness than vibrant colors, which makes sense for an animal that evolved as a hunter. So next time you buy a toy, maybe go for blue. It'll actually stand out to them. While we are on the subject of biology, let's tackle the math problem that every dog owner knows and that almost every dog owner gets wrong. The 7-year rule. You have heard it 1,000 times. 1 human year equals 7 dog years. It sounds neat, tidy, and simple. It's easy to calculate. If your dog is 3, they are 21. If they are 10, they are 70. But this rule is totally off, and frankly, it's a bit lazy. Dogs do not age in a perfectly linear line like that. The reality of canine aging is much faster in the beginning and then slows down. For starters, think about your dog's first year of life. In just 12 months, they go from a helpless puppy who can't even open their eyes to a biologically capable adult who can reproduce. A 7-year-old human child can't do that. So biologically speaking, your dog's first birthday is actually closer to a human's 15th birthday. They pack a massive amount of development into that first year. The second year is roughly equivalent to another 9 human years. So by the time your dog is 2, they are already like a 24-year-old human. After that, things settle down, and each dog year is worth roughly 4 or 5 human years. But here is where it gets even trickier. Size matters immensely. This is one of the few areas in nature where being larger actually means a shorter life. A tiny Chihuahua isn't aging at the same rate as a Great Dane. Small dogs often live well past 15 or 16 years, while giant breeds might be considered seniors by age 6 or 7. Treating a Great Dane like a 7-year-old human when they are actually a senior citizen can lead to missed healthcare opportunities. Forget the times 7 rule. Instead, celebrate your dog's milestones based on their unique size and life cycle. Every year with them is a gift regardless of the number. We worry about their age, and we also worry about their diet, especially when they start acting like cows in the backyard. This brings us to the weird phenomenon of eating grass. You've probably heard the old wives' tale, dogs eat grass because they are sick to their stomach and they need to make themselves vomit. It's the go-to explanation. You see your dog munching on the lawn, and you immediately think, "Oh no, get the carpet cleaner ready, they're going to be sick." But hold on, it is rarely that simple. Research has actually debunked this as the primary reason. A comprehensive study by the University of California, Davis surveyed thousands of dog owners and found that fewer than 25% of dogs actually vomit after eating grass, and fewer than 10% showed any signs of illness before they started eating it. So, if they aren't sick, why are they grazing like livestock? There are a few reasons. Sometimes it is simply boredom. Just like you might chew on a pen cap or snack when you aren't hungry, dogs turn to grass snacking to pass the time or deal with mild anxiety. It gives them something to do with their mouth. For others, it's about texture and taste. Fresh spring grass has moisture and a bit of sweetness that dogs genuinely seem to enjoy. There is also an evolutionary theory that wild ancestors of dogs ate the stomach contents of their prey, which were full of plant matter, so they may have a residual instinct to add roughage to their diet. However, just because it's normal doesn't mean it's perfectly safe. The danger usually isn't the grass itself, it's what is on the grass. Lawns treated with pesticides, fertilizers, or herbicides are toxic. Plus, grass can harbor intestinal parasites from other animals. So while you don't need to panic if they snack on a clean patch of lawn, if they are obsessively chowing down like it's a buffet, it could point to a nutritional deficiency or a behavioral issue. When in doubt, trust your vet over old sayings. Now let's move on to a myth that causes a lot of unnecessary panic among new dog owners. It's the belief that a dry nose means a sick dog. How many times have you touched your dog's nose, felt that it was warm and dry, and immediately thought, oh my gosh, he has a fever? This is one of the most persistent myths in pet care. The truth is, the temperature and moisture of your dog's nose fluctuate constantly throughout the day, and a dry nose is rarely a sign of a medical emergency on its own. Think about it. Where has your dog been? If they have been sleeping, they haven't been licking their nose to keep it moist, so it's naturally going to be dry when they wake up. If they have been lying in the sun or next to a heating vent, their nose will be warm and dry. Even dehydration or allergies can cause a dry nose without it being a crisis. Conversely, a sick dog can have a wet nose. A dog with a severe respiratory infection might have a very runny wet nose, but they are definitely not healthy. The moisture level of the snout is a terrible thermometer. Instead of fixating on their nose, look at the whole picture. Are they eating? Is their energy level normal? Are their gums pink? Those are much better indicators of health. Unless the nose is cracking bleeding or has thick discharge, a dry nose is usually just a dry nose. Speaking of health and energy, there is a training philosophy that has become a bit of a cliche, and we need to add some nuance to it. The idea that a tired dog is a happy dog. You hear this at dog parks all the time. People running their dogs into the ground playing fetch until the dog can barely stand, thinking they are being the best owners in the world. And let's be clear, exercise is vital. A sedentary dog is an unhealthy dog. But there is a huge difference between a fulfilled dog and an exhausted one. Imagine if someone made you run a marathon every single day. You would be physically tired, sure, but would you be happy? Or would you be stressed, sore, and mentally drained? Dogs need balance, not just exhaustion. If you focus only on physically wearing them out, you are essentially building a super athlete. You are building their stamina so that next month you have to run them even more to get them tired. What dogs really crave and what actually makes them happy is mental stimulation. Their brains need a workout just as much as their legs. Games like food puzzles, scent work hide and seek, or learning a new complex trick can tire a dog out faster than a 3-mile run. 10 minutes of intense nose work is often equivalent to an hour of physical exercise. A truly happy dog is one that is mentally engaged and physically active, not one that is just passed out from fatigue. If you only focus on the body, you are missing half the picture. And this leads us perfectly into a myth about their mental capabilities, specifically regarding age. You know the saying, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. This is quite possibly one of the saddest myths because it leads people to give up on older dogs. They adopt a senior dog and think, well, He is what he is. No point in training him. Or they let their aging family dog get away with bad behavior because he's too old to change. This is completely false. Science has shown that dogs, like humans, possess neuroplasticity throughout their entire lives. Their brains are capable of forming new neural pathways until the very end. In fact, older dogs are often easier to train than puppies. Why? Because they have an attention span. They aren't distracted by every leaf that blows by. They are calmer, they have more focus, and they are usually more motivated by food or praise because they have a longer history of bonding with humans. Teaching an old dog new tricks isn't just possible, it is recommended. Keeping an older dog's brain active can actually help slow down canine cognitive dysfunction, which is basically doggy dementia. Teaching your senior dog to spin or shake or solve a puzzle keeps their mind sharp. So never write off a dog just because they have a little gray on their muzzle. They are dying to learn. You just have to be willing to teach them. Finally, we have arrived at the big one, the one mentioned in the title, the behavior that we interpret as the ultimate sign of love. Let's talk about licking. We call them kisses. When your dog runs up and licks your face, your hand or your feet, we project our human emotions onto it. We assume it is exactly the same as a human kissing another human on the cheek. And yes, licking is an affectionate bonding behavior. In the wild, puppies lick their mothers and pack members lick each other to show submission and strengthen social bonds. It releases endorphins in their brains that soothe them. It feels good for them to do it. And this is a big, but it is not just affection. It is also an information gathering mission. They use their tongues to taste the salt on your skin, which tells them where you have been and what you have been doing. Your sweat is full of pheromones that tell them your emotional state. So sometimes they aren't kissing you. They are analyzing you. And then there is the gross part we try to ignore. Think about where that tongue has been. Dogs use their mouths for everything: cleaning themselves, eating things off the sidewalk, greeting other dogs in intimate areas. Dog saliva is not cleaner than a human's. That is another myth. It carries bacteria, including things like capnocytophaga, which can be harmful to humans, especially those with weak immune systems. Letting a dog lick an open wound isn't healing. It's a recipe for infection. Furthermore, obsessive licking isn't love. It's often anxiety. If your dog won't stop licking you or the furniture, they might be self-soothing because they are stressed. So while an occasional lick is a sweet sign of bonding, don't trick yourself into thinking it's purely a romantic gesture. It's a mix of love, salt craving, and data collection. Keep it safe, keep it balanced, and maybe don't let them lick your face right after they've been in the yard. Now you know the truth behind some of the biggest dog myths out there. Breaking these misconceptions makes you a more informed, more empathetic owner. You are no longer projecting human traits onto them. You are understanding them for the wonderful animals they actually are. But there is even more to discover about your dog's amazing instincts. They have abilities that go far beyond just eating grass or wagging tails. Did you know they can sense things about people that you can't? Tune in to our next video to uncover how dogs spot bad people and other incredible talents they have. You will see your furry friend in a whole new light and maybe even feel a little safer knowing what they can do. Before you go, I want to do something special to honor the dogs that put up with our misunderstandings and love us anyway. I want you to go to the comments section right now and type your dog's name, just their name. Whether they are currently sleeping at your feet or waiting for you at the Rainbow Bridge, let's fill the comments with the names of the best friends we've ever had. I'll be reading through them and sending love to every single one. Thank you for watching, and give your pup a scratch behind the ears from us. Dogs do some incredibly strange things. They sniff rear ends with enthusiasm, they refuse to let you use the bathroom alone, and they tilt their heads in that adorable way when you speak. But here is the thing. None of this is random. Scientists have actually spent years decoding these quirks, and the reasons behind them are often shocking, rooted in ancient survival instincts that still live inside your pampered pooch. Today, we are going to dive deep into the mind of your dog to explain the biology behind the madness. Let's start with the behavior that melts everyone's heart, but is actually a sophisticated tool for survival. We have to talk about the head tilt. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You make a weird noise, or you ask, "Do you want a treat?" And your dog cocks their head to the side like a confused toddler. It is arguably the cutest thing they do. But biologically, they aren't just trying to look charming for Instagram. First, they do it to adjust their hearing. Dogs have flaps over their ears, their pinnae, that can muffle sounds. By tilting their head, they are repositioning their ears to better triangulate exactly where a noise is coming from. They are tuning their antennas. But there is a second sweeter reason. Stanley Coren, a famous dog psychologist, suggests that dogs tilt their heads to see our faces better. Because dogs have muzzles, their nose actually blocks the lower part of their vision, kind of like if you taped a paper cup to your nose. By tilting their head, they move their muzzle out of the way so they can clearly see your mouth and your micro expressions. They are literally trying to empathize with you and understand your emotional state. And let's be honest, they also do it because every time they do, we QO and give them snacks. So they have trained us just as much as we have trained them. While the head tilt is all about connection, this next behavior is about protection, specifically when they are most vulnerable. Have you ever noticed that your dog stares right at you while they are pooping? It can be incredibly awkward. You look away, but they keep locking eyes. You might think they are embarrassed or asking for privacy, but it is actually the opposite. In the wild, defecation is a dangerous time. The animal is crouched vulnerable and not ready to fight or run. When your dog stares at you during this process, they aren't making it weird on purpose. They are looking to you as the lookout. You are the member of the pack who is currently standing guard. They are watching your body language to see if you spot a predator. If you are calm, they know they are safe. It is a massive sign of trust. They are effectively saying, "I'm defenseless right now, so I'm counting on you to watch my back." Speaking of watching your back, have you ever tried to go to the bathroom alone only to have your dog force the door open or scratch until you let them in? The bathroom chaperone phenomenon is universal among dog owners. It's funny, but to a dog, a closed door is a breach of the pack dynamic. In their mind, the pack stays together. When you go into a small room and close the door, you are cutting yourself off from their protection. They follow you in there because biologically, they feel vulnerable when separated from you, and they assume you are vulnerable too. Furthermore, bathrooms smell very strongly of, well, you. It is a high scent environment, and since dogs experience the world through their nose, they find it interesting. They aren't trying to invade your privacy, because privacy is a human concept, not a canine one. They are just engaging in a communal pack activity. Oh, we're doing this now. Cool. I'll sit here and guard the tub. Now, once you are out of the house and on a walk, you might see them engage in a behavior that looks a bit aggressive, but is actually communicative. This is the ground kick. After they do their business, some dogs aggressively kick their back feet, tearing up the grass or dirt. They look like a bull getting ready to charge. They aren't wiping their feet. They are writing a message. Dogs have scent glands located in between their paw pads. When they scratch the earth, they are releasing pheromones onto the ground while simultaneously creating a visual mark with the disturbed soil. It is a double whammy of communication. They are leaving a calling card for the next dog that walks by saying, "I was here, this is my territory, and I am healthy." It is the canine version of graffiti tagging. It's not aggression, it's social media. This obsession with the ground leads us to a ritual that seems almost OCD, the circling. Before your dog lies down to sleep, or before they go to the bathroom, they spin in circles. Sometimes, once, sometimes 5 times. Why can't they just sit? This is a deep ancestral instinct passed down from wolves. In the wild, there are no dog beds. There is tall grass rocks and uneven terrain. Wolves circle to trample down the grass, to create a comfortable nest, and to drive out any snakes or insects hiding in the vegetation. It is a safety check. They also circle to determine the direction of the wind so they can position their nose to smell any incoming predators while they sleep. Your dog is doing it on a plush carpet in a climate-controlled living room because their DNA is still telling them they are sleeping on the tundra. But sometimes trampling the grass isn't enough. Sometimes they want to wear the grass. Or worse, they want to wear something dead. This brings us to rolling in gross things. You give your dog a bath, they smell like lavender. And 5 minutes later, they are outside rolling on a dead worm or a pile of fox poop. Why? To us, it's disgusting. To them, it's tactical camouflage. One theory is that wolves roll in strong odors to mask their own scent, allowing them to sneak up on prey without being detected. If you smell like a dead deer, the deer won't smell the wolf coming. Another theory is that it is a way of carrying information back to the pack. They roll in a scent returned to the den, and the other dogs sniff them to learn what is happening in the territory. It's like wearing a souvenir t-shirt that says, "I found something interesting over there." Now let's switch gears to a new behavior that often catches owners off guard. It's late at night, the house is quiet, and suddenly your dog goes crazy. This is the Zoomies, technically called frenetic random activity periods, or FRAPs. This is when your dog tucks their butt, widens their eyes, and sprints around the house like they have lost their mind. This isn't madness, it is joy. It is a massive release of pent-up energy. It often happens after a bath to shake off the stress, after a long nap, or when they are just feeling incredibly happy. It is a physiological reset button. They are burning off adrenaline. While it can be chaotic, it is actually a sign of a healthy, happy dog. Just clear the coffee table and let them run it out. It usually only lasts a minute or two. When they finally calm down, you might notice them communicating in subtler ways. Let's talk about licking lips. Obviously, they do this when you are holding a piece of cheese. But what about when there is no food? If your dog flicks their tongue in and out quickly when you are hugging them or scolding them, this is an appeasement signal. It means they are nervous. It is a subtle body language cue that says, I am uncomfortable, please give me space. Or, I am not a threat, please don't be mad. If you see this, check the environment. Is something stressing them out? Are you too close? It's a polite request for a timeout. Similarly, there is a vocalization that tells you exactly how they are feeling if you know how to listen. This is the dramatic sigh. You know the one. They circle their bed flop down and let out a long, heavy exhale through their nose. Believe it or not, the meaning depends on their eyes. If they sigh with their eyes half closed, it is a sound of contentment. It means, I am safe, the day is over, and I am happy. However, if they lay down and let out a sharp sigh or huff with their eyes wide open and staring at you, that is disappointment. That means, I guess we aren't going for a walk. Or, I guess you aren't going to share that pizza. It is the sound of resignation. From resignation to mischief. Let's talk about stealing your stuff. Does your dog steal your socks? Your underwear? The remote control? It's frustrating, but they usually aren't doing it to be malicious. They are doing it for two reasons: scent and attention. Your socks and underwear smell the most like you biologically speaking. If your dog loves you, they want to be near your scent. Stealing your sock is like holding a security blanket. But more often, it is a game. They know that if they grab a toy, you might ignore them. But if they grab your phone or your shoe, you immediately get up and chase them. Uh-huh. They think, I have initiated playtime. Even negative attention is still attention to a bored dog. They are stealing your stuff to steal your time. This obsession with your scent extends to where they sleep. Have you ever found your dog sleeping on your dirty laundry pile instead of their expensive orthopedic bed? It's the same principle. Your dirty clothes are saturated with your pheromones. Sleeping there makes them feel like they are sleeping next to you. It lowers their cortisol levels and makes them feel safe. It is a huge compliment, even if it covers your black jeans and white fur. And sometimes that desire for closeness gets a little tasty. Why do dogs lick your feet? It tickles, and for some people it's gross. But for a dog, your feet are a flavor explosion. Your feet are sweaty, and sweat is salty. Dogs crave salt. But beyond the snack appeal, licking is a submissive bonding behavior. In a pack, lower-ranking members groom higher-ranking members to show affection and respect. By licking your feet, they are acknowledging you as the leader and releasing endorphins in their own brain that soothe them. It's a calming, bonding activity, essentially a slobbery foot spa. While they take from us, they also give back. Let's talk about bringing gifts. Your dog greets you at the door with a toy in their mouth, wiggling their whole body. Or maybe they drop a soggy ball in your lap while you're watching TV. This is a remnant of their hunting instincts. Wolves bring food back to the den for the rest of the pack. When your dog brings you a toy, they are presenting you with a resource. They are sharing their wealth. It is a gesture of inclusion. I value this object, and I value you, so I want us to enjoy this object together. Even if they don't actually let you take it, the no-take-only throw, paradox, the act of bringing it, is a sign of love. Now we have to touch on a behavior that is less cute and more dangerous: This is pica, the compulsion to eat non-food items like rock sticks or drywall. While chewing a stick seems normal, actually swallowing rocks or fabric is a serious disorder. It can be caused by a nutritional deficiency, but more often it is due to severe anxiety or boredom. It can lead to fatal intestinal blockages. If your dog is actually eating the inedible, this isn't a quirk. It's a medical emergency waiting to happen. You need to talk to a vet immediately. Okay, we have arrived at the big one, the title of the video, the one thing non-dog people just don't understand. Why do dogs sniff butts? It looks rude to us, but in the dog world, this is a firm handshake and a background check all rolled into one. Here is the science. Dogs have two small sacs inside their rectum called anal glands. These glands secrete a pungent, oily substance that is unique to every single dog. It is their chemical fingerprint. Furthermore, dogs have a specialized organ in their nose called the Jacobson's organ, or vomeronasal organ, that is designed specifically to process these heavy pheromones. By sniffing another dog's rear, a dog can instantly tell the other dog's gender reproductive status, diet health, and even their current emotional state. They aren't just saying hello. They are reading a detailed biography. It is the most efficient way to gather information. So when they try to do it to you or to your guests, well, they are just trying to get to know you better. It's awkward, but it's polite in their language. Finally, let's talk about a private habit that makes owners blush: licking their own private parts. If they do this constantly, it can be embarrassing, especially when grandma is visiting. Usually, this is just hygiene. They are cleaning themselves because they don't have showers. However, if it becomes obsessive, it is a medical red flag. It could mean a urinary tract infection, allergies, or skin irritation. So if your dog can't leave themselves alone, don't just tell them to stop, get them checked out. It's usually an itch or pain they are trying to soothe. Understanding these weird behaviors changes everything. It shifts our perspective from "why is my dog being gross" to "oh, my dog is communicating with me." They are navigating a human world with wolf instincts doing their best to tell us they love us, they respect us, and they are happy we are home. They act this way because they feel safe enough with you to be their true, goofy selves. And that is a beautiful thing. I want to take a moment to honor the connection we share with these weird, wonderful animals. I want you to go to the comment section right now and type your dog's name. Just their name. Whether they are currently sleeping at your feet or whether they are waiting for you at the Rainbow Bridge, let's fill the comments with the names of the dogs who have made our lives better. Tell us their name and the weirdest thing they do. Let's celebrate them today. I'll be reading through them and sending love to every single one. Thank you for watching, and give your pup a scratch behind the ears from us. Dogs never do anything without a reason. Have you ever watched your pup bark furiously at absolutely nothing in the corner of the room? What if they are sensing something you simply can't? And what about that massive full body stretch they do the moment you walk through the door? Is that just a morning yoga routine? Or are they actually trying to tell you something specific? Today, I want to walk you through the secret language behind these weird dog behaviors. We are going to decode the things they do every day, so you can finally understand what your best friend has been saying all along. And we are going to start with that classic stretch, because it is so much more than just waking up muscles. Number 1 is the greeting stretch. You know the move. You walk into the room. Maybe you've been gone for 5 minutes or 5 hours, and your dog trots up to you and immediately lowers their front half to the floor, keeps their butt in the air, and holds a deep stretch. It's easy to write this off as them just shaking off a nap. And sure, physically, they are loosening up. But in the world of canine body language, this is a massive compliment. This is often called a play bow or a greeting bow. When a dog does this specifically while making eye contact with you, it is a sign of vulnerability and comfort. They are putting themselves in a subordinate position to say, "Hello, I am safe, and I am so happy you are here." It is an invitation. They are asking if you are ready to engage, ready to connect. If you watch closely, you'll see this isn't the same stretch they do when they get off their bed, alone in the middle of the night. This one usually comes with a soft gaze, maybe a wagging tail, and a happy energy. It is their way of saying, "I missed you, and I am ready for whatever we do next." It is basically a physical hug, without the touching. But while the stretch is a silent greeting, sometimes they communicate with things we can't see or hear. This brings us to number 2, barking at ghosts. This is the one that freaks every dog owner up. You are sitting on the couch, it's late at night, and suddenly your dog stands up, stares into a dark hallway, and starts barking at absolutely nothing. It makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up, right? You think, "Great, the house is haunted." But before you call a ghost hunter, remember this: your dog is a biological supersensor. First, they have superior hearing. Humans can hear frequencies up to about 20,000 hertz, but dogs can hear up to 45,000 or even 60,000 hertz. They pick up high-pitched frequencies, the electricity humming in your walls, or a critter scurrying under the floorboards 3 rooms away. They aren't barking at nothing. They are barking at something you simply can't perceive. Secondly, their sense of smell is their superpower. They might be barking at a scent drifting in through a crack in the window. Maybe a neighbor walked by 5 minutes ago, or a fox is crossing the yard a mile away. To them, that scent is as loud as a shout. And yes, let's be real, sometimes they do it because they're bored. If they bark and you immediately look at them or talk to them, they learn that barking equals attention. But generally, if they are staring intently at nothing, trust their senses. They are alerting you to a change in the environment that your human senses are too dull to pick up. Now, sometimes they try to understand us just as hard as we try to understand them. This leads to number 3, the head tilt. Is there anything cuter than when you speak to your dog in a funny voice and they cock their head to the side like a puzzled toddler? It melts our hearts every time, but it serves a very practical biological function. Dogs have incredible hearing, but they sometimes have trouble locating the precise height or distance of a sound. By tilting their head, they are adjusting their outer ears, the pinnae, to better triangulate where the sound is coming from. They are literally tuning their antennas to your frequency to catch every nuance of your tone. They want to know if you said walk, treat, or just good boy. But there is another layer to this. A famous dog psychologist suggests that dogs also tilt their heads to see our mouths better. Dogs have muzzles that can obstruct their view. By tilting their head, they move their nose out of the way so they can clearly see your lips moving and read your facial expressions. They are trying to empathize with you. So when they tilt their head, They are giving you their undivided, intense attention. It's a sign of high emotional intelligence and a deep desire to connect with you. Speaking of connection, sometimes that connection gets a little messy. Number 4 is the play sneeze. You are wrestling with your dog. Things are getting a little rough. Maybe they are growling, and then suddenly a chew. They sneeze right in your face. It's not allergies. It's not a cold. This is a deliberate form of communication. In the wild, play fighting looks a lot like real fighting. There are teeth, there are growls, there is snapping. So how does a dog make sure you know it's all in good fun? They sneeze. The play sneeze is a universal just kidding button. It signals, I am having fun, I am not angry, and I love this game. According to research from universities studying canine behavior, this is a de-escalation signal. Anxious dogs rarely do this because they are too worried about being misunderstood. If your dog sneezes while you play, they feel safe enough to mock fight with you, knowing you understand their language. It is their way of laughing. However, if your dog is sneezing constantly when they aren't playing, that's different. That could be a foxtail in the nose, allergies, or an infection. But a sneeze during a game of tug of war, that is pure joy. Now let's talk about a behavior that is all about physical closeness. This is a new one we need to cover. The lean. Number 5. You are standing in the kitchen, making coffee, or sitting on the couch, and your dog walks over and leans their entire weight against your legs. It feels like they are trying to knock you over, but this is actually the dog version of a hug. You have to remember, dogs don't have arms to wrap around you. In fact, in dog language, putting your paws over someone's shoulders is often a sign of dominance or control. So they don't hug like primates. Instead, they lean. When a dog leans against you, they are physically anchoring themselves to your safety. It is a sign of trust. They are saying, I am here and you are my support. Sometimes a lean can be a sign of anxiety. You might notice they do it more during thunderstorms or vet visits. In those cases, they are looking for reassurance. But most of the time in a quiet house, it is just affection. They want to be part of your personal space because you are their favorite thing in the room. From leaning, we move to touching. Number 6 is the paw on you. You are sitting there, maybe scrolling on your phone, and your dog walks up and places a heavy paw on your knee or your arm. They stare at you. What is this? Is it a demand? Is it a handshake? It can be a few things. Sometimes, yes, it is a demand. Dogs are masters of manipulation. They learn very quickly that paw on human equals human stops looking at phone and pets me. If you stop petting them and they immediately paw you, that is them saying, excuse me, you weren't finished. But there is a sweeter side to this. Dogs also use their paws to comfort. If you are sad or crying, you might notice your dog pawing at you gently. They are trying to physically connect, similar to how a human would put a hand on your shoulder. They are releasing oxytocin by touching you. It is a gesture of empathy. So while sometimes they are just being bossy beggars, often they are just trying to hold your hand in the only way they know how. Now let's talk about a behavior that we often misinterpret completely. Number 7 is the belly rub trap. We tend to think that if a dog rolls over, they want a belly rub. And for many dogs, that is true. Belly rubs feel amazing because the hair follicles on their stomach are hypersensitive, and stimulating them releases a flood of feel-good hormones. However, rolling over is also a sign of submission and appeasement. If a dog is feeling intimidated or shy, they might roll over to expose their vital organs. They are saying, "Please don't hurt me, I am not a threat." If you rush in to tickle a dog who is doing this out of fear, you might actually stress them out more. So how do you tell the difference? Look at the rest of the body. Is the dog wiggly? Is the mouth open and relaxed? Is the tail flopping around? That is a happy dog wanting a rub. But if the dog is frozen stiff, their tail is tucked between their legs, and their mouth is clamped shut, that is a scared dog saying, "Uncle." Respect the difference. If they are stiff, give them space. If they are wiggly, give them scratches. While we are discussing sounds and signals, let's look at a vocalization that isn't a bark. This is number 8, the dramatic sigh. You know the one. Your dog circles 3 times, flops down on their bed, and lets out a long, heavy harumph through their nose. It sounds like they have the weight of the world on their shoulders. Believe it or not, the meaning of the sigh depends entirely on their eyes. If your dog lets out a long sigh with their eyes half closed or fully closed, that is a sound of contentment. It signals the end of an activity. It means, I am safe, I am happy, and I am going to sleep now. It is a physiological reset for their nervous system. However, if they lay down and let out a sharp sigh or huff while their eyes are wide open and looking at you, that is the opposite. That is disappointment. That means, I guess we aren't going for a walk, or I guess you aren't going to share that pizza. It is a sound of resignation. So check the eyes to see if your dog is zen or just judgmental. Now let's get into the weird stuff. Number 9 is tail chasing. It's like a cartoon come to life. Your dog suddenly realizes they have a tail and they must catch it immediately. Puppies do this often because they are literally just discovering their own bodies. They are goofy and learning coordination. For adult dogs, it can be a way to burn off excess energy or just boredom. Some breeds, like German Shepherds and Terriers, are prone to high arousal and might do it when they are excited. However, be careful with this one. If your dog is chasing their tail obsessively, like they can't stop, or they are biting it until it bleeds, that isn't cute. That could be a medical issue, like anal gland, irritation, fleas, or a neurological compulsion. But if it's just a random goofy spin once in a while during playtime, laugh along with them. They are just being silly. And finally, we have to end with the most explosive behavior of them all. Number 10, the Zoomies. You are sitting quietly, and suddenly your dog's eyes go wide, their butt tucks underneath them, and they take off like a rocket. They are running laps around the coffee table, banking off the sofa, running like they left the stove on. This wild burst of energy is technically called FRAPs, frenetic random activity periods, and it is arguably the best sign of a happy dog. Dogs do this to release pent-up energy, often after a bath to shake off the wet feeling and the stress after a long nap, or just because they feel good. It is a euphoric rush. It means their zest for life is overflowing. Puppies do it more because they have zero impulse control, but even old dogs will have a Zoomie moment now and then. It is completely normal. The best thing you can do is just clear a path so they don't crash into a lamp and enjoy the show. It is pure joy in motion. If they stop having Zoomies suddenly as they age, it might be a sign of pain or arthritis, but as long as they are running, they are thriving. Understanding these behaviors changes everything. It shifts our perspective from, why is my dog being weird, to, oh, my dog is communicating with me. They are navigating a human world with wolf instincts, doing their best to tell us they love us, they respect us, and they are happy we are home. They act this way because they feel safe enough with you to be their true goofy selves. And that is a beautiful thing. They give us so much joy, so much laughter, and so much unconditional love, even when they are barking at ghosts or sneezing in our faces. I want to take a moment to honor that connection. I want you to go to the comments section right now and type your dog's name, just their name, whether they are sleeping at your feet right now or whether they are waiting for you at the Rainbow Bridge. Let's fill the comments with the names of the dogs who have made our lives better. Tell us their name and the weirdest thing they do. Let's celebrate them today. I'll be reading through them and sending love to every single one. Thank you for watching, and give your weird, wonderful pup a hug from us.